For decades, there's been this one go-to tool for building brand strategy. But in today's world, which is just drowning in data, a seriously powerful new challenger has stepped into the ring. This is the story of SWOT analysis versus predictive analytics, and what their showdown really means for the future of your brand.
So let's just start with this question, right? Is your brand strategy built for yesterday, or is it built for tomorrow? Are you making your biggest decisions based on a snapshot of how things are today, or are you actually trying to see what's coming around the corner? Let's dig in.
All right, first up, let's talk about the classic, the OG, the framework that's probably been on every single marketing whiteboard for generations. The good old SWOT analysis.
At its core, SWOT is it's beautifully simple, right? It's a super structured way to look inward at what you're good at, your strengths, and, well, not so good at, your weaknesses, and then you look outward at the opportunities and threats out there in the wild. It just gives everybody in the room a common language to talk about where the business stands.
And look, the reason it stuck around for so long really comes down to these three things. It's so simple, anyone can jump in and use it. It gives you that 30,000-foot view of the whole business, and it makes sure your big, hairy, audacious goals are actually grounded in some strategic thinking. It's been the bedrock for a very good reason.
But here's the thing. The world today doesn't exactly stand still for a photo op. And that brings us to the challenger, predictive analytics fueled by data and AI. This is where the game really starts to change.
So think about it like this. Instead of just describing what's happening right now, predictive analytics is all about telling you what's gonna happen. It chews through mountains of old data to find hidden patterns, and then forecasts what your customers, your competitors, and even your market are most likely to do next.
And this is where things get really interesting, because we're moving way beyond just scribbling opportunities in a box on a whiteboard. Predictive analytics can start to tell you things like which product is about to see a huge surge in demand, which competitor is probably getting ready to launch a new campaign, and, get this, exactly which tiny segment of your audience is ready to buy right now. It's all about turning vague possibilities into actual probabilities.
Okay, so we've got the reigning champ and the disruptive newcomer. How do they really measure up when you put them in the ring side by side?
So yeah, how do they really stack up against each other? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down what makes them tick.
Okay, looking at this, you can see the difference right away, can't you? SWOT is all about human insight. It's qualitative, it's reflective. Predictive analytics, that's pure data, quantitative, and all about looking forward. One gives you this clear, static picture to get everyone on the same page. The other gives you a dynamic, moving forecast so you can be agile. They're really built for totally different jobs.
But let's be real for a second. Neither of these is some magic wand you can wave. A SWOT analysis can be super biased depending on whose voice is loudest in the room. And predictive analytics? Well, its predictions are only ever as good as the data you feed it. And if you follow it blindly, you might just lose that gut feeling, that human intuition that builds truly iconic brands.
All right, so now that we know what they're good at and, well, where they fall short, the real question is, how do you actually use them? Let's dive into the playbook. Okay, so think of it like this. If you're a brand new startup, yeah, you're going to start with a SWOT to get your story straight. But before you bet the farm on that story, you use predictive models to see if there's actually real demand out there. Or, if you're in a crazy competitive market, you're going to lean heavily on predictive analytics just to stay one step ahead. It's all about picking the right tool for the job at hand.
And this, right here, this is probably the most important part of this whole explainer. The big secret isn't picking one over the other. No way. The real power, the winning move, is making them work together.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, first, you start with your classic SWOT workshop to get everyone aligned. Then, and this is key, you use hard data to pressure test your assumptions. Is that opportunity you wrote on the whiteboard actually real? The data will tell you. Then you create a feedback loop, so your predictive dashboards are constantly feeding new insights back into your SWOT, keeping it alive and relevant. And here's a quick story that just hits the nail on the head. So there's this retail brand, right? Their SWOT workshop identified expansion as a massive opportunity. But instead of just jumping in, they layered predictive data on top, and that data showed them that demand was rising, but only in a few specific regions. Boom! They turned a good guess into a precise data-backed strategy and probably avoided a super costly mistake.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this mean for your brand's future? Where do we go from here?
You know, this quote from the source material really just nails it.
It's all about shifting from reacting to anticipating. I mean, that is the difference between chasing your market and actually leading it. And mastering this hybrid approach, well, that's how the best brands are going to win.
So we're going to end right where we started, but with a whole new perspective. Take a hard look at your own strategy. Is it a static document that's basically looking in the rearview mirror? Or is it a living, breathing system that's designed to see what's coming next? Because honestly, the answer to that question is going to define your brand's future.